Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has been far too long since I have posted on here, and there are some reasons behind that, but I am totally missing this and super excited to jump back in. And so with all that being said, today's video is what I would think is the next video that has to happen on this channel, and that is my birth story with Mr. Parker. And so if you are interested in watching that, then just keep watching. As always, thank you so much for being here, and please hit subscribe if you have not. I'm feeling so thankful. Even though I've taken such a long leave of absence, we've continued to grow and we're over 200 subscribers now, which is super exciting. So all right, without further ado, let's get into my birth story. Okay, so basically where I left off with you guys last, which is sort of an overview of my pregnancy and our nursery tour, and I actually filmed that on Thanksgiving, and the very next day was the day that we welcomed Parker Allen into our family. I'll insert some pictures here, but it was a very exciting and also a very traumatic day. So actually the Monday before Thanksgiving is where this story sort of begins, and that was when I had gone in for a biophysical profile, which is basically like a more in-depth ultrasound. They monitor baby for like breathing reflexes and movement and whatnot. And the reason why I was starting to have those was because on my previous ultrasound that I had had the week before that, the specialist had seen that Parker was starting to head spare, meaning that he was giving all of his nutrients to his head and not to the rest of his body, so they were getting worried about him. After that biophysical profile and just everything that was going on, I had been admitted a couple extra times, and they decided, you're having this baby this week. And so I kind of got to choose if I wanted to do it Tuesday, Wednesday, not Thursday because it was Thanksgiving, or Friday. And I chose Friday, which was Black Friday. And so that morning, bright, shiny, early, we got up. Gracie stayed with my parents the night before. We got up, we were at the hospital at, I think it was like 5:30 a.m. or something crazy like that. And I'll insert my last picture, pregnant. But yeah, we got up, we got there, everything was really good. I was definitely nervous. I started to film for our birth story, and unfortunately things got a little bit chaotic pretty quickly. So everything was going great. Unfortunately, my spinal did not set up correctly at first. We had to repeat that. So by the time Corey got in, it had been like 45 minutes. And then they started my C-section. Little man did not want to come out. They were having the hardest time getting him out. Once they got him out, he was coughing and kind of crackling a lot because he had some extra fluid, which is fairly normal for C-section babes. And based on my due date and everything, he was 36 and 6. So one day away from being term. And we had fought to keep him in there that long so that I would hopefully not have to have any NICU time or really any nursery time. We were hoping for a much smoother delivery than with Gracie. With Gracie, I was so prepared for the NICU. I knew that she was coming early. I knew that she would be small. I knew she would be in an incubator. I knew all of that. But when Parker came, I thought, I have pushed to 36 and almost 37 weeks. Like, this has been a roller coaster. I have tried so hard to keep this baby in, and look, we did it. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna get that skin to skin right away. It's gonna be a wonderful experience. We're gonna bond. Unfortunately, that is not what happened. As soon as Parker came out, he had that fluid in his lungs. We took him over to kind of work on him, suction him a little bit. I did not actually really get to see him. I did not get to touch him, and I did not get to hold him. And they ended up taking him out and then gave me some medicine to basically knock me out. And I woke up in recovery and I was doing okay. I didn't have any pain, but I was very, very, very nauseous. So basically they tried a couple different things and ended up deciding to give me some nausea medicine that's pretty intense, and that basically knocked me out. So basically the entire rest of the day I was just floating in and out of sleep. I could not keep my eyes open. I knew I needed to get up and pump and do all those things, and I just could not keep my eyes open. Finally, around 4 or 5, I was able to try to eat something and get up and walk for the first time, and Thankfully, I was so incredibly lucky that the pain that I was feeling was so minimal. Honestly, walking this time around was so much easier. Recovery, I just felt great, honestly. Got up, was able to get my catheter out, was feeling really great. I got to go down and visit Parker and see him for the first time. I'll insert some pictures from the first time I met him. Didn't get to hold him yet. He was on a CPAP, and the pediatrician had been in contact with us, and she had brought up Denver once, but then that kind of got pushed away. He was doing okay. They just said that he needed the CPAP to blow some of the fluid out of his lungs. And so we kind of kept progressing. I started pumping, things were going great. I was able to eat for the first time, and it was wonderful. I had white rice. I'll insert a picture. I felt so thankful to be able to eat and not throw up. It was wonderful. And unfortunately, that is when things took a turn. The pediatrician came in and brought up Denver. I was very confused and conflicted, wondering how my baby, who just needed a little bit of extra help from the CPAP to get that fluid out, suddenly was going to possibly need to be life flighted to Denver. He was 5 pounds, over 5 pounds. So for us, that was huge, because my last ultrasound, he was tracking about 4.5 pounds. So we were just thinking, wow, he's doing amazing. We're gonna get to see him, take him back to our room, like leave soon, it's gonna be great. So not even one full day after having him, we got the news that his x-rays were trending downwards, and it actually looked like he had a pneumothorax, which is a hole in his lung that was creating negative pressure. Basically, he was unable to keep his stats up. He was on the highest flow of oxygen, he was on blow-by oxygen, and things were just not getting better. He needed to have a procedure where they would dart his chest to let out that extra air, and unfortunately, they will not ventilate a baby in our hospital. So they had said, well, we can try to chest dart him, but they hadn't done very many of them, and we just were a little bit hesitant. It was kind of a stopgap to know if he was even going to not need to be transported to Denver anyways. So we went ahead and just asked, is this a stopgap? And they said basically he's gonna need a chest tube probably anyways. And so we made the decision to go ahead and have the flight team come to get him. So the flight team made their way towards us, and basically we got to just try to keep him as comfortable as we could. We really didn't know what was gonna happen. And it was pretty traumatic. I know there's much worse things that could happen, but honestly, I was not prepared at all for the trauma that I had with him, because for me, I had fought so hard. My pregnancy itself had been super traumatic, and I was thinking, this is gonna be my chance to have a baby, like in a more normal circumstance. I'm gonna be able to hold him right away. I'm gonna be able to try nursing. I was so adamant that I did not want to have to give him bottles. I wanted to start our nursing journey strong, and clearly that was not happening. So the flight team came, they gave him his chest start, and got him ready to fly. I was finally able to hold him for the first time. They were not taking that baby without letting me hold him, which I am so incredibly thankful for. Only one of us could fly with him, meaning that somebody else would have to drive. Obviously, I just had a major surgery, and so I couldn't drive. And I did not want Corey to drive behind us alone in the middle of the night. This was at like midnight. So we made the executive decision to drive together. So I was discharged at just about 30 hours post C-section, and I jumped in our car and we took off on the 4-hour drive to meet up with him at the hospital. When we got to Denver, it was a little rough, because when I had seen him last, he was awake. He was struggling, but he was awake. I got to Denver and he was fully sedated. He was in the highest level NICU. He was on a ventilator and he had a chest tube, and I freaked out. But honestly, it was the best thing for him. They were getting him the help he needed. I'll insert a couple pictures of him. He was too stinking cute. He was just such a calm, sweet little boy, and he still is. He is just our calm little man, and he is a smiley, happy baby. But yeah, and so it took a couple days for his lung to heal. They were able to take his chest tube out, and then we were just on the figuring out the eating schedule, which was really hard on me to have to go through that again. I fought it, and I finally decided I just wanted to get home. I missed Gracie. I just wanted to be home. So I went ahead and just gave him bottles of my breast milk instead of continuing to fight to exclusively breastfeed. And so I was just pumping and giving him the milk that way because it allowed us to get home faster. And I knew that when we got home, then I could try to work on nursing, which I tried to do. And unfortunately, when we got home, it was really hard. He did not want to take anything other than the bottle because it's easier, which was the same thing I ran into Gracie, and it took 6 months for her to learn to nurse. Thankfully with Parker, it took about 2 months. But honestly, it has been just amazing since then. We are still exclusively breastfeeding and he is just killing it. He is just the sweetest, happiest man. But I want to insert a couple pictures of him now. He is nearly 8 months old. He is starting to crawl and he said his first word a couple days ago. Oh, baby. Good job. So both kids are just growing, they are thriving, and we are just feeling so incredibly thankful. Corey is working out of town about 6 hours. He does a month there and a week home, and that has been a transition. We are thankful that he has a job and a job that he loves that provides so that I can stay home and love on our babies. But yeah, I have missed this. I have missed filming, but I knew that I wanted my first video back to be my birth story, and honestly, I was having a hard time just kind of wanting to talk about it because it was just so much different than I was hoping and expecting it to be. But in the end, we came out with a happy baby who fully completes our family, and we couldn't be more thankful. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.